All right, music fans, welcome back. Harmless me here talking real music in real time for a few real people just like you and just like me. So I'm going to be talking about how I think Rolling Stone magazine is irreparably damaged by the Jan Wenner debacle, because that's all. I mean, it's a catastrophe for both Wenner and Rolling Stone, and for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, for that matter, because the Hall of Fame had this guy on their board, and they're the ones constantly saying, "Hey, we need more women, we need more minorities, and we're gonna just put them in, even if they only have like one album that people know." We're going to put them in there. And then the guy who's on the board says, well, they're not really very interesting people to talk with. That's essentially, I interviewed all of these people for my book, and they're all, white guys. And that's really all I wanted to speak with. I don't want to speak with anybody who's not interesting. Marvin Gaye, he wasn't interesting. Okay, great job there, Jan. Before I get to the heart of this video, I want to talk about Mecca. Here's their album, Everlasting. Now, why am I promoting this? Pretty much because nobody else is, and this is good. Joe Vanna, the brainchild of this band, has worked with Jim Peterick, okay, the guy from Survivor, Eye of the Tiger, Hold On Loosely, he wrote for 38 Special, and a bunch of other great rock songs. And of course, people know Jim from Ides of March, the song Vehicle. The fact that I have to say this stuff, I guess, is really sad, but people are going to forget. Anyway, this guy has worked with Jim, and so to me, that's a lot of credibility there. So check out Mecca, Everlasting. It's too bad the record label didn't do a little bit more, just a skosh more, just a little bit more to promote some of these releases. And that one especially, really good one. So Ted Nugent blasting. You know what's funny is when Ted Nugent says that these comments were racist and misogynistic, and you've got people saying, yeah, Ted's right. I mean, Ted's not. Everybody thinks Ted is this crazy right-wing guy. Ted came from the 60s, okay? Peace and love, right? That's where he came from. Now, he didn't do any of the drugs, so you got to give Ted credit, and he likes to throw that out there, and good for him, because he can wear that, like a badge of honor. So this is interesting. He's doing the nightly Nuge, and he got contacted by a young lady who was at the meeting when Jan Wenner saw the cover of Rolling Stone back in the day when Ted had a Walther PPK 380 automatic. This young lady who was there came to the concert. It was either Philly or Pittsburgh, Nugent claimed. She said, I was at the meeting when Jan Wenner just went berserk on us because he couldn't believe that we got a photo of this redneck right-wing NRA member with a gun on the cover. And she said, never again are we allowed to say anything about Ted Nugent's career except negative stuff, and take him to task and go ahead and make false accusations. Wow. Now, this is what she told me. This is according to Ted Nugent. And that's what they've been doing ever since. They parroted the lies that I dodged the draft, which is a lie. They parroted that I had sex with Courtney Love, which is a lie. Nugent says, I mean, I have proof that I didn't have sex with Courtney Love because I still have both arms and I don't have rabies. Wow. Ted is funny. The point is that he always parroted all the nastiest allegations that I dissed the Native Americans, which I never did, that I'm a racist, which I'm not, that I'm a homophobe, which I'm not. The point being that Jan Wenner finally got thrown off the board of directors of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame that he has made sure I'm not part of, because he actually made racist and misogynistic attacks on women and blacks, and so the board threw him off, which proves that his accusations towards the conservative guy were actually what he was guilty of. By the way, isn't that the modus operandi of the Democrat Party? They always accuse other people of what they are glaringly guilty of. And Jan Wenner got caught, and so Ted says, adios, mofo. Yeah, that's all true. That's all true. I wish we didn't have tribes in the country. I'll say it like this because the whole idea that there's a group of people out there that just accuse the other side, and what happens is the other side becomes sensitive, and so they're afraid to talk. I've got friends that won't talk about certain issues, like the wonderful, safe, and effective product that we're all supposed to love, and the CDC telling us, let's do this again. We've got a new version that we tried on 10 mice, and it's great. You got to get it quick, go to CVS, But if you say to somebody, I don't know if that's a good idea, you get a whole bunch of backlash from people. But I think what's happening now is it's less and less. And when you see something like this, where this is supposed to be a gatekeeper location, like Rolling Stone, some people make all these wild accusations that the CIA is now running Rolling Stone, because Rolling Stone will put out war machine talking points now. This stuff, by the way, that all of these artists from the 60s and 70s, guys like Roger Waters, even Ted Nugent to some degree, but a lot of these guys who were protesting, like Jackson Browne, they were like, you know what? We'll cover this every opportunity we get because we have a political agenda. And the agenda was to stop nuclear weapons. Now it seems to be we're promoting the war machine in the year 2023. And that certain countries are so bad that we're always going to have to be at war with them. And there's no peace and love. Ted talks about peace and love, and how the drugs, if you take too many of them, make you forget what you're doing, and thus you can't really implement peace and love. You're too busy just stoned and tripped out and all that good stuff. That was another legacy from that time period. And I think a lot of people grew up. See, this is the issue I have with certain people in certain demographics, where they continue to behave a certain way. And you're like, they never learned. They didn't grow up. It's bizarre. Most people become more conservative as they get older. They don't just hold on to these values to give the middle digit to everybody who has abandoned those values or never had those values to begin with. You could save yourself a lot of trouble in life if you're more conservative fiscally, socially, with your money, all these things fiscally. That's what I'm talking about, so I said it twice. But in any event, there are certain principles that if you follow them, you tend to find them in this famous book that I like to talk about every so often. The book is called The Bible, okay? And there's some good advice in there. There's some good ideas in there. Even if you're a person who doesn't like embrace Jesus, you could read the Bible and come away with some really good ideas. There's no foundation with the secular media for the most part. They operate as if God doesn't exist and the Bible doesn't exist. And so there's really no morality other than what the collective kind of agrees upon, but that changes from year to year. Year to year. Like 5 years ago, we didn't have this debate about what a woman is, for example, right? We didn't have that debate because it's pretty obvious, right? But it's bizarre that I think of this all the time. I'm going, we've really got people out there. I mean, Trump was just asked, and he's like, because you know why? Because now everyone's programmed. I don't want to get someone upset. I don't want to offend anyone, and that's Donald Trump, people. So, I don't know where all this leads. The irony here is really delicious. I talked about this the other day. Guys like Nugent now can just be like, dude, you have no credibility. Why are you lecturing me on anything? The fact that I'm a conservationist, or I'm a gun owner, and I believe in managing the forest or whatever. I mean, Nuge is a smart guy. I tell people all the time, I had a conversation with Ted Nugent. It was really hard to keep up with Ted. Uncle Ted has got more brain capacity than pretty much, I would say 98% of people in the music business. Ted Nugent is smarter than those people. Those people would never admit it. Now, because they have different political views than Ted, they look down upon him like he's just this stupid redneck rube. But the truth is, he knows more about the Constitution. He knows more about the environment. He knows more about how the government works. He can, spout off any kind of talking point on any issue of the day. And Ted knows what he believes. And even if you disagree with him, you have to kind of admire that. In the old days, we used to kind of do that. We used to say, hey, I don't agree with this guy, but he's really smart and he knows his stuff. And, it's kind of like a music genre. Like, hey, I don't really like that particular genre, like Flotsam and Jetsam. Throw them out there just for the heck of it. I guess they canceled a bunch of gigs, right? I'm not into that kind of music, but I can respect that, hey, they're really good, or they used to be really good at what they were doing. And a lot of people knew that who liked that type of music. And so I look at it like people will send me stuff and I'll say, yeah, it's not really in my wheelhouse musically, but I respect it. I respect what they're doing because they're good at it. So in any event, that's the way people should probably look at Ted Nugent, but they don't. And this whole Rolling Stone thing, this really hits at the heart of their credibility at this stage. And all the things, this has got to be so embarrassing for Rolling Stone and also for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. And now a lot of people are saying, could this lead to the bands that everybody enjoys listening to? Could it mean that some of those bands get nominated for the Hall of Fame? No, because these people, they'll double down. They'll pretend this didn't happen. And if anything, they'll probably be more relentless in their gatekeeping status to keep out bands like Foreigner and REO Speedwagon and Kansas. Kansas isn't in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Just sick and twisted. This is not twisted. This is good music right here. Mecca and their album Everlasting. Check it out. Also, Modern Retro Radio. I'm losing my train of thought. ModernRetroFM.com. Don't forget about them. I support them. They support me. So we have this mutually assured bartering going on, which is helpful to both of us. I get more viewers. They get more listeners. So that's like a nice trade-off. And they're just good people. So I tend to support good people with good motives. And by the way, they believe in good stuff on top of it. So if you go listen to that radio station, you're not going to be listening to like the Rolling Stone radio station, like viewpoint wise. You've got something that, supports truth and freedom and bodily autonomy when it comes to the medical industrial complex. All right, people, I'm done with this video. If you can remember, please subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, I need your support as more of an independent creator as I move forward, depending on what this platform wants to do with the algorithm. I appreciate people who support me on Patreon and through YouTube memberships, although we just don't know from day to day. I had videos deleted on the political channel that I run. And so what are you going to do? You just keep trying and you hope for the best. I'm over on Rumble, but nobody really watches me. I get like 50, 60 views maybe on a good day over on Rumble, but I am over there, just so you know. And these videos should automatically transfer to both Rumble and another place called Odyssey, which I haven't talked about in a very long time. So thanks again, folks. God bless everyone. God bless Ted Nugent, man. He's a one-man wrecking ball, and he's fun to watch, and he's always interesting. See you soon.